Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. Readers of freedomsphoenix.com are constantly provided the information that detail the real news between the lines of propaganda about government policies and the true relationship we all have with coercive governments. Learn the true condition of our economy, innovations and technological breakthroughs in energy, health, computer science, and space travel. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media, the media that is so last century. Corporate media has evolved into nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but we now have a fantastic alternative. FreedomsPhoenix.com provides constant news updates on the issues that affect our lives in the most important ways. Our liberty and our property are under constant attack, and FreedomsPhoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda while encouraging the participation of our readers. Join us at FreedomsPhoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. FreedomsPhoenix.com, where the revolution between the ears has already matured.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Turn on the tube, what do I see? A whole lot of people crying, don't blame me. They point the crooked little fingers at everybody else. Spend all the time feeling sorry for themselves. Victim of this, victim of that. Your mama's too thin and your daddy too fat. Get over it. Get over it. All this running and crying.
Yeah, get over it. Get over it. Yeah, I'm giving my eyes a rest, but will be entertaining. The one thing that I shared with you in the last segment, kind of why we're interested in Jon Stewart's case and the baseline killer and all this. And John let me know today something that we might want to share with you guys is that you're making noise, John. Stop making noise. So
okay.
One thing that we wanted to share with you was some information that he happened to come across today while he was down at the court. Why were you down at the court?
I was watching somebody else's court case because the detective that's been trying to frame me for 3 years has been actually trying to frame this other guy for 4 years. So I wanted to see how that case went and exactly how they were pulling off the frame that they're so good at pulling off.
Okay, let's not get into accusation detail. Tell me what you learned.
Okay, I learned that there is a man named David Barnes that was the supervisor for the homicide department of the Phoenix Police Department. He was also the senior homicide investigator for the baseline killer case. He has been indicted. He has been removed from the police department for perjury, destruction of evidence, and planting evidence. And the police department is working with the judges to stop all of these issues from showing up in the murder cases, because people that have been convicted will be able to use this to get new trials. So
okay, now how certain are you of this information? I mean, the names, what their position was, what they're being charged with. Because, you go making accusations like this on the show, on the air, here in Phoenix, Freedom's Phoenix, Mark Victor's thing, everybody and their grandma is going to check, and it's going to be, rock solid, right?
yes, that's why I'm not mentioning the other names, because I've got a whole bunch of people, at least half a dozen people right now, that professionally discover information that are working on it. Here's what we know for sure. Barnes has been indicted. Barnes has been indicted for perjury and destruction of evidence. The indictment apparently did not include planting evidence, but it was brought up in the indictment.
Okay, now his position is what?
He's a civilian now. He is trying to get back on the police department and trying to quash the indictment.
Well, how long ago did this happen?
The indictment was issued a little over a year ago, but it goes to cases as far back as 6 years.
And we're just now finding out about this stuff?
Well, there was a little bit of a release on it. Then the police department pulled everything. The press stopped working on it. So you can find a little bit about it, but it doesn't really go into the whole what cases he worked on or his actual position as a supervisor and a trainer for the other homicide detectives.
Okay, so how this comes in is that we're getting to the point now to where cases are coming to trial that he was working on, murder cases and so on, that defense attorneys are going, hey, man, this guy, we knew he was scum from back then, and now we got indictments showing that, we want evidence that and put this in and share it with the court and the jury, and they go, no.
Exactly. The judges, because if the judges allow it in on any case, then guys that were convicted could use that for a trial de novo and get a whole new trial. So the judges right now, at least in the murder case that I was watching today, the judge prohibited any mentioning of the name of the indictment, and it was the original cop that was investigating the man that's on trial for murder today.
Wow.
The whole thing in his trial was just like mine. All the evidence that proves he's innocent disappeared. In my case, there's 9 pieces of evidence that prove that I'm innocent, that prove they shouldn't have even arrested me, and they've all disappeared.
Because they can. All right.
Because they can.
Okay. Hi. Thanks for sharing this with us, and we'll, keep adding this to the information that we already do know and the discovery process and all that Mark Victor is going on with the city of Phoenix, because it's going forward. He represents several families that were affected by the actions of, and I know this is going to play into it, at least not, if not directly in his case, certainly in the public relations part, and that's my job.
Well, but hold on just for a second, honey. I think it does play in his case. He was what they're not, and I don't think they've even told Mark Victor this. He was the senior homicide investigator on the baseline killing case, and if Mark Victor hasn't been told that by the other side, they're withholding evidence from him.
We will find out, I guarantee. John, thanks for coming on and updating us on that, man. I appreciate it.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
Bye.
It's did I push the button right? There we go. This stuff happens more often than you think. As Mark and I have been involved in a lot of cases over the past 15 years that he and I have worked together, it's, I guess it's probably more because when I get involved, it's because of something like this. Mark, I'm sure he does a lot of cases, and he has a lot of good things to say about some of the detectives and people that he works with. But as the system and certain individuals, man, he'll be the first to tell you, man, it is jacked up, and it goes all the way up. I mean, including judges and so on. And a lot of it's a philosophical thing. If they can rationalize in their own head that they're doing the Lord's work, well, they just do it. I'll give you an example. When we had election fraud, I started to find out, and if I had to put, how do they get away with this stuff? Who is it that's doing this? Who are the programmers that keep quiet? How deep are they in it? Why are they so invested? Are they just crooks and they just give money, which is a lot of times the case. But I started to see a common thread. Now, I'll just share this with you. I don't have any evidence of this one way or the other, but I saw a common thread that I think as time goes along, this will be part of the JFK documentary on election fraud done 10, 20 years from now. My experience has been this. The people that are part of the machine that help election fraud go through, when it gets to a certain point that investigations are blocked, that people are instrumental in certain positions to allow it to happen and everything, it comes down to, wait for it, here we go, the pro-life issue. What has happened is a lot of people that are pro-life and whatever specific religious, association they may have, but, there's some more involved than others, but it was the pro-life. They rationalized in their head that election fraud served their purpose of not getting the murdering baby killers in office that would have them blah, 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 blah. And as some of the cases, when I start coming across this, that was a common theme. I found the people that were blocking these things were big pro-life advocates. And the races that we were looking at, really favored, a lot of times kind of, how the heck did that happen? People that were pro-life candidates. So I'm going, this is all right. Once I get to that point, I didn't really care what their rationale was. It was that, was somebody lying? Were they not invented? Were they somehow rationalizing in their head that what they were doing was Lord's work? I think so. We get the same thing for things like guns and drugs and their ever increasing worship at the altar of the government. You know, somehow they're able to rationalize it. And once they start down that path, it's almost impossible for them to get away from it. All right. So that's what I think, you know, is going on here. You'll have people that they may just be corrupt or lazy or whatever, but, you know, you watch the cop shows. You know, it's always the guy, you know, rationalizing how he's kind of kicking in the door and fudging around the edges and all that kind of stuff, to where not does it become the exception, it becomes the rule, because they want to rule you. They'll do it nicely, though, and for good reasons. When we come back, we'll finish up on the wallet voting thing and the explanation of why we're doing everything the way we are, building up to this weekend's gun show. We'll talk about it when we come back. You stay right there.
This is Ernest Hancock. I'm publisher of freedomsphoenix.com and the radio talk show host of Declare Your Independence. Now, I want to give you my personal endorsement of a wealthy U.S. citizen that is predicting that in 2011, we will witness the most important day in America in more than 50 years. He's produced a video for you. It's a real eye-opener, and I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to watch it. www.endofamerica, the numbers 1 and 7.com. Endofamerica17.com. This video has the history of how we got where we are now and where we're going and why. Now, it's a lengthy video. It'll be about 20 minutes, but you need to watch this so you understand what's going to happen to this country and how you can protect your wealth and even benefit financially. Now, you go there. It's free. I want you to watch this video. You need to have this information so that you can survive the economic collapse that's coming to America. It's not if, it's when. That's End of America, the numbers 1 and 7.com. After you watch it, you'll understand why I endorse it.